Hello, everyone, and welcome to another possibly preposterous, possum-like pole vaulting, long-distance running on limbs like lightning, bow-hunting bad boy bucks with bolts brandished from badassery and beanstalks. Uncle Gary used to run track back in high school, but was kicked off the team for drop-kicking the Duncanville deputy mascot off the bleachers episode of the Days Grimm. My name is Brian Michael Day.
My name is Thomas Grimm.
I got that one, dude.
Yeah, you really did.
Fucking crushed that one, dude. They get harder and harder every week.
I know, you just keep trying to one-up yourself.
I know,
episode.
dude. It's best for you to be your own competitor.
I mean, other than Dr. Seuss.
I feel like that's also, you're very far behind me, and it makes me nervous. Have you always been that far back?
No, you set me in a stationary chair and told me not to move.
Dude, can we talk about, okay, speaking of Uncle Gary out there crushing it, obviously, like he does, also, I need to know, like, how frequently do people have to piss in the street before you, as a municipality, implement open-air urinals?
I really don't know. I mean...
Did you hear about Nashville?
No.
They passed a bill now that you can pee outside and you will not be labeled
a sex offender?
Yeah, a penis violator.
Go Nashville. I mean, their bar lines are way too long. I mean,
yeah,
what do you expect?
I guess it's going to be, in a couple of years, they're going to have open-air urinals, which has been a thing in France for a while. Also, the triathlon's coming up. Are you pumped?
Yep, 20 days away. Less than that
bro.
by the time this airs.
Fuck yeah, bro. I'm so ready. Thomas, hit him with it.
Joining us today in the Days Grimm shoebox is a long-distance runner and an outdoorsman, Samuel Rise. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Samuel. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
It's very nice to meet you.
It's good to meet you.
I like to be very polite and cordial up front. That way, like, all the slanders later in the episode don't seem that bad.
Totally.
I won't slander you, of course, but
you want to
go for it, really.
Give our listeners a real quick synopsis.
Oh yeah, who are you, dude?
Geez, I'm me. I don't know. I'm a musician, endurance athlete. Pole vaulted back when I was younger and a little bit more limber. More than anything, I'm an exercise nerd, is what I always tell people. Place that I work now. You have any questions? Because I'm the nerdiest of exercise nerds that's ever nerd.
Where you work at?
So right now I'm with Deaconess. We're in the medically supervised weight loss and surgical weight loss.
Sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
And an outdoorsman, like I mentioned in the intro.
Very much so. Yes. Big, avid hunter. Wish I could get out and fish more, but mostly hunting.
Okay. Fair enough. That might be the best 2-minute synopsis that's ever been given.
Ever on the air.
Very clean, very concise.
It's only downhill from here.
All right, dude. Also a Scotch connoisseur, apparently. Are you a big Scotch guy or no?
Yeah, no.
This was per your request. So you are or not like a big Scotch guy? You know what I mean?
I've got my favorites. A lot of people are bourbon people around here.
I'm a bourbon guy.
Too sweet for me.
Really?
So the Scotch and me get along.
This is a unique flavor. I can't really put my finger on it. I'll put my finger in it, though. No, I don't really know how to explain it.
Do
but
you use your fingers to measure it, Brian?
I usually just reference my penis with everything. So 1 inch intervals is how I measure most things.
I like it. I like my hot Scotch with tea.
So that was balls deep +1.
Yes. Yeah. +1.
Solid.
So I don't know that it would hit the bottom of that glass. I'll be honest with you guys. And then, so away from my penis, onto the weird drink that you're having. You're having a warm
I do a
tea.
hot Scotch and tea. It's like my favorite thing ever.
Is the tea hot or is the Scotch hot?
The tea's hot.
Oh, you don't heat up the Scotch?
Sometimes I do, but I just went with the hot tea today.
Okay, so you did a hot tea and just threw some damn Scotch in
Yeah,
there.
man. I used to do it all the time. You put like and especially in the winter when you start getting cold or anything like that, you heat it up and it's just
I don't know who hurt you as a kid, but
everyone.
I need to have a conversation with that individual, dude. So have you listened to any of the episodes before by any chance?
I haven't.
You
sorry.
haven't? Don't let it happen again, dude. Next time you come back, you come prepared. No, I'm just teasing. Dude, we do this thing called the Death of the Week. The DOT dub is what Thomas calls it. And it's really just a unique way. We try to get one that pertains to the guest, but it's a unique way or scenario in which someone had unfortunately passed away. And we like to make fun of them afterwards or the situation. So if the article has a name in it, we usually bleep those out just to keep it as, somewhat Christian as possible. But other than that, I mean, you ready to dip your toes in the fucking DOT dub? All right, Samuel.
Is this the story or is the actual video of death?
No, it's the story. Sometimes when we're lucky, we get a video, but that's not the case this week. Not the case, guys. Okay, so he was confident. He was relaxed. He was looking naturally to soar to the moon. He was, in short, as ever, a 19-year-old sophomore pole vaulter competing Saturday afternoon for Penn State in the Big Ten Men's Indoor Track and Field Championships in the University of Minnesota Fieldhouse. Okay, so guys, this happened in 2002. This is February of 2002. And the article goes on to read, it says, father, Ed Dare, attended the meet Saturday in Minneapolis with his wife, Terry. They never miss an event for or his 20-year-old brother, Eric, who throws the javelin in outdoor track for Penn State and also plays defensive back on the football team. Was considered something of an underdog at the Big Ten meet, but he had hoped to surprise the field. Just before he went to make his vault, this is a quote, Ed Dare said, "Even said to me, 'This is my day, Dad.'" They were the last words Dare would ever say to his father. Today at the Cook Funeral Home on South End, nobody cares. Okay, anyways, here we go. On that fatal jump at a well-knit 5 foot 10 inches and a whopping 180, with short brown hair and a modest new tattoo on his left shoulder, wearing a dark blue uniform of the Nittany Lions, carried his 16-foot fiberglass pole resolutely as if it were a lifeline. The clock at the noisy arena read 2:40. Turned and took off quickly down the runway. The bar was set at 15.7. Easy jump, guys. Easy jump. As approached the bar, he plunged the pole into the steel setting at the base of the takeoff and flew up like Superman. The pole bending deeply as the vaulter, seemingly at first like a possum at the end of a branch, began to straighten up and out. It was something had done 1,000 times with passion, competitive zeal, and with surreal thrill that he was flying without wings and he loved it. The pole totally vertical now seemed to kick as though he had gone over the bar, but he hadn't. Was he disoriented? Did he misjudge the bar? No one will ever know. Essentially, he makes it to the top, misjudges the bar, and when he does his spread to clear the bar, he hits nothing. It's pre-bar, and then he goes head first into the steel landing, and now he's dead.
8-inch deep steel box embedded in concrete is a good way to
dead
crush a watermelon.
You're not making it out of that.
If you're a pole vaulter, if you're a pole vaulter of my age, you've heard of this. This was the news, because 2002 I was a sophomore, I think, something like that.
And you were pole vaulting at the time.
Oh yeah,
big time.
Yeah, I think something very similar happened at IU as well.
What's the tallest jump you think you landed?
Me?
Yeah,
I've jumped 15 feet.
So 15.5 is pretty high?
Yeah. Oh, this is a D1 school. Like, that's...
Right.
People, it's funny when you read that because they're like, oh, yeah, 15.7 is relatively modest. Well, if you look at it in the terms of elite pole vaulters, like, yeah, the world record was just set at 20 feet, 2 and change, something like that. But if you get up next to a bar that's sitting at 15 feet, and you're like, somebody literally is running with a bendy stick, and getting their entire body over that, and not
a story
dying.
and a half.
Most of the time, they're not dying. Most of the time.
Feel free. You can bring that mic in just a little bit
Okay,
too, if you
sure,
don't
sure,
mind.
sure.
Bring her on in there. There you go.
But that's nuts. Like,
Get up close.
see,
And
I
personal.
was totally going to be like, yeah, Sam, teach me how to pole vault. And then you just read
Fuck
this story,
that.
and I'm like, maybe start on like an 8-foot
yeah.
pole.
Maybe I'll just start, hopping fences.
Yeah, maybe I'll start with a pogo stick, and
If I'm recruiting for pole vault, I want somebody that's tall, fast, and dumb.
that's me.
He's not very tall, but he is fast and dumb.
Yeah, if I don't know, the dumb part's probably the most important.
Oh, I
because
got you there.
Is
then.
height a big
Solid.
thing for pole vaulting?
huge thing.
Really? So you get that extra like bendy or something? The lankiness helps or what?
So the angle you create at the ground. All right, you got to get that pole that's above your head.
Mhm.
You got to get it to stand up to vertical.
Yeah.
So if somebody's 5'10" like me, or if somebody's 6'4", at their reach, that angle that they make with the pole to the box
Yeah.
is a lot closer to 90 degrees going straight up. So it's easier for them to get in on bigger, longer poles and get better heights.
I
But-
got you. I'm following.
Point of diminishing returns. Whereas if you're that tall, are you going to be fast enough?
Yeah, because you get more weight normally.
Yeah, you have more weight. A lot of that's why Usain Bolt's just such a freak. It's because he is that tall and he's that big.
I'm not sure how
He's
tall
so
Usain
fast.
Bolt is.
I think he's over 6'2", isn't he?
6'2" or 6'3", probably.
It's crazy.
We're having screen recording issues. Otherwise, I would look it up and show the universe. But yeah, so this week's Death of the Week, man, that was from Penn State 2002. Damn, that sucks for his parents,
So,
dude.
Sam, where'd you go to high school?
Yeah.
I went to Heritage Hills, just right down there.
Okay.
Here.
So when you were in high school,
Mhm.
it was about the time we met. Our grandparents both took us to longbow competitions, and I guess for the listeners that don't know, longbows are basically the bows Indians used, essentially, but modern, I guess you would say,
That's a good
with
way to put it.
no sights, just straight down the arrow, bow, pull, string. That's it.
Yeah, like I don't even know like a Neanderthal,
Yeah.
you know.
But I remember,
stick and a string,
Yeah.
and another stick.
but I remember
And
I would go to
another
these competitions, and they had the little corner campground. We'd all camp out, and you would always play guitar. Like you mentioned earlier, you're a musician. You would always sing. And then like we'd all go out and do these competition shoots, basically just walking through the woods, shooting styrofoam targets.
That is like we look forward to Christmas #1, and we look forward to the Cloverdale Nationals #2. In my family, it was awesome. My parents would get down there, or my dad would drive down with my grandpa, and they'd get that corner spot a week before.
Every time.
They would drive down, set up the campers and everything, reserve it, and then drive back home, work, and then get out there later that week.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
I got mad respect for musicians, dude, because I say this to almost everybody that music comes up with on the show, but like knowing how to play, I barely know how to play guitar, by the way, but like I have such an appreciation just for music in general that like anytime I run into somebody that knows anything about music, I get super fucking jacked.
Oh, yeah?
So like first off, so you play guitar, that's like your main instrument?
Yeah, anything with strings, but
Anything with strings?
acoustic guitar is kind of my main thing.
Yeah, me too. Big. I'm a big I got a Cherrywood Alvarez downstairs. It's all beat to shit, but I've had it for like 15 years. But yeah, dude. So who's your number one? You know what I'm saying? Who's God for you? Guitar God.
Oh, guitar-wise? Like,
Are you a Van Halen guy?
No.
No. Who do you go with?
No, see, a lot of that stuff is what I would like to call musical masturbation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I like it. I appreciate Clapton, but he's not my favorite.
I love Good Cream.
I love Wonderful Tonight. Great
Mm.
bass line.
Damn.
Yeah.
I was a bass player, so.
Yeah. No.
Which is what I do in the current band, by the way.
you slapping the bass, huh?
Slap it a bass.
Slap at the bass.
As far as number one guitarist,
Could be contemporary. Could be classical. It could be anybody.
yeah, I mean, I think everybody says Hendrix, and I think that that's a solid choice because the way he was playing, nobody was doing anything like that. Was another planet at the
Yeah.
time that he was doing it. Kind of like Elvis. People don't realize that. They listen back now and they're like, what's it? Was like nobody had even thought like this was devil music.
Nobody else
Right.
was shaking their dick on stage,
Right.
dude, and he was just getting the fuck after it.
Right? Like, can you imagine Johnny Cash up there wiggling it around?
Oh, dude, fuck no.
Probably not.
Although I bet Cash had some moves. I am a Zepp head.
Oh,
all
there
the
you go.
way through. So
There you
Jimmy
go.
Page is my god.
Okay.
Everyone gives me grief because they're like the best cover band ever, but it doesn't matter. Whatever the haters will say, Jimmy Page is hands down. He's got to be in. Anybody that knows anything about music, he's got to be in your top 5. Like
I
he
like
just
it.
has to be in your top 5. Like, and he's my number 1.
I've thought
He's very talented.
enough now that I can give you 2. I can give you a classic and I can give you a contemporary
Mm-hmm.
because I got to see BB King live.
No way.
Oh, it was
Sick.
It was phenomenal.
I would have masturbated in the crowd.
It was the simplest thing ever. You go to like a rock concert now and there's lights and there's pyrotechnics and there's stacks of crazy. And he had like one little single speaker tube amp. The whole stage crew wore tuxes. Like it was just, there was 4 lights above the stage. And the horn section, they all like swayed and danced in time and like swayed to the mics and back away from it. It was the classiest shit I've ever seen. But he was like talking with the guitar, and that's I feel like that's what everybody wants to achieve. Is you can with your voice, you can just be as natural and like doobie bop.
Yeah.
And it just comes out however right.
Yeah, dude.
However the heck you want it. Well, he was just like that with the guitar. Like he would say something and sing a little melody and then just immediately follow it right along. And he'd be like, this is what it sounds like when I'm sad. And oh, God, it was amazing.
He's just like reading the cooking instructions from Kraft mac and cheese off the back of the box, but his guitar just makes it work.
Right. And it's like a bit of like a Tolkien story. Like Tolkien never got into a hurry to tell a story. He always like stopped and slowed down.
What are you referencing? Tolkien?
J.R.R. Tolkien?
Yeah, Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings?
Oh, dude. No,
Have you ever read it?
0 reference.
Oh, that's cool.
I do know the name, though. I was thinking of an author, but yeah, I don't know. I don't get the reference because I've never read anything.
What was high school like? So so you're hunting before high school? Or like outdoorsy, like you're getting used to a bow and everything, and then you're like playing an instrument and everything like that, and then like high school hits, and now you're running.
Oh gosh, dude, I just never slept. Really, that's all it was.
Right, you got all these hobbies through high school, and I think like the way you're able to do it now is because you started juggling all these balls young.
I think so. I tell people the only reason I was good at guitar is because I was, and I'm not making this up, I was grounded for 2 years, and that's the only thing that I could do. No cell phones, no internet. I could get internet at school, and I would print off some lyrics and like some chords and stuff of songs that I wanted to learn. That's the only thing that I could do.
And that's got to be crazy good for your like retention, because you're you get to read it one time, and then it's like, okay, now I have to just like remember.
Well, he
how
said
to
he was
play
printing
this.
it off.
Yeah, you print it off, but like I would just have folders of these.
Well, yeah,
man.
I guess that's true, but still, that's insane though.
So what like got you into running? Like, what made you like? I mean, I'm not a big runner. I don't like running. I love the swimming and biking, like of the triathlon we're training for, but running is not my forte.
Depression is what got me into running more than anything else. I didn't.
Fuck yeah, bro.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I was I pole vaulted the whole time, but I did some sprints or whatever. I never did distance running.
That's what I was gonna say. I watched a bunch of videos. You were like I guess for pole vaulting, you got to be basically a sprinter, right?
Yeah.
You're like practice short distance as fast as you can, essentially.
Yeah, it's pretty much detrimental if you want to try to be a distance runner and a pole vaulter, as far as the muscle groups and everything and the type of muscle fibers that you're training. It doesn't work together.
When did you start researching all that? In high school?
No. I researched it. Like I'm a licensed.
So after high school, so you did track and field all through high school?
Yeah.
And then what did you do after high school?
After high school, I worked as a AutoCAD designer at a local place that made kitchen countertops to try and save up and get into college. Because at the time, I couldn't get any benefits. My parents made too much, but they were like, hey, if you ever want to go to college, it's all on you.
Right.
So until I was 24, I couldn't get any kind of assistance or anything.
So you're just working, saving up, and
That's
then
right. Playing a lot of music.
So you're in a band, multiple bands through this time?
Yeah. I was making basically the main stuff is I make my own music, and then I was in a band called Deaf Megan, and it's all the same guys now. It's just that we've gone through like, I don't know, we all grew up together. Yeah, we all have kids now, and one of our members' children is hearing impaired, and we were Deaf Megan, and we were like, growing up, we got to quit being so dang offensive.
Thanks a lot, Kyle.
Yeah. So then we went to Dad Megan, because we're like all dads.
Right.
Now, right.
Okay, that works.
Yeah. And now we're Happy New Month, which this show that we're going to play here in September is going to be the first one under that name.
So you're making the 13th month in the year.
What is wrong with you?
He said Happy New Month. There's 12 months. It'd be a new month. It'd be the 13th month.
Well, that came around because we would do a show on the 1st every month.
Oh.
And then,
Happy New Month.
Yeah. We'd almost always start shows at like 10 and play to like 1:30 or 2. And then we play Auld Lang Syne and sing Happy New Month instead of Happy New Year.
That's awesome.
That's what's up, dude.
So then you get to go to college once you save up. What do you go for?
My first degree was exercise science with a minor in coaching.
And were you still coaching during that time? So in this time you were coaching track and field?
So I would go to work. I would get to work at 5 a.m. So I remember this. I would wake up at 4:12 a.m. That was exactly how much time it took for me to get to work. I go to work. We'll work until 1:30. All right, which is nice about that. So I'd leave work, and I go get some classes in at USI. So I drive from the east side out to USI, which is, what is that, 25 minutes or so?
If
25
bad,
if traffic is...
Do my classes, and then I would drive. I coached at Memorial High School. I coached there for, I think, 7 or 8 years. So then I would go and coach them, and the deal was I could pole vault as I was coaching. So that's where I got my training in for pole vaulting.
Okay.
And then I come back and I do night classes. And if that went well, I get home at like 10:30, 11, and then have to wake up at 4 or something. But there was a lot of nights, like we used to play Thong Thursdays at Fast Eddie's. I don't know if
back before too many people got stabbed.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, that's what's up.
So we'd play Thursday night. The show would end at 1:30, so it would take forever. You have to wait to get paid, and you have to load everything out, and everybody want to talk to you.
You're
and
driving
blah, blah,
to work
blah,
and sleeping in the parking lot.
It's exactly it. I'd sleep in my truck in the parking lot for like an hour and a half.
Sam, do you prefer Sam or Samuel? I gotta ask.
I go by Samuel, just because I don't want people going, "Oh, Sam I am. You like green eggs and ham?"
God, Sam,
I feel bad I called you Sam now because when I moved to Evansville, I told everybody my name's Thomas. I want to be called Thomas. That's my name, And then I brought 4 friends around my family, and they all call me Tommy. And then
I was about to say, you
spread like a
fired
virus.
up when they said Tommy. Yeah.
No, I didn't really care. Like teachers, I was like Tom, Thomas. What I respond to them all. I'm used to it, but like I know what it's like to want to be.
I was gonna say, this is the first time in a long time that I've had scotch, and can I just tell you, like when I take a sip of this, it makes me think of like the inside of a used baseball mitt.
I get what you're saying. A little
It's,
leather, a little old, a little musty.
Yeah, kind of must. Not in a bad way, a very positive way. It kind of takes me back to my my T-ball days.
I can see that. I always think it tastes like
That's
being around a
intriguing.
campfire.
So
Ooh, that's a good way to put it too. Yeah.
I
like it.
When did you start doing your first long distance run?
Yeah. So a lot of my friends in high school, I think it was in between sophomore and junior year. Gosh, I was having a hard, I was like at the bottom of depression. I was having such a hard time, and all my buddies were like, "Dude, Sam, come out cross country." Like the people that I actually hung out with were all runners, and I wasn't. I just pole vault, and I was like, I don't want to go out there and do that. And I remember the first time I ran 1 mile with my buddy at Boy Scout camp, and I was like, that was the worst thing that I've ever done in my life. I do not want to do that. And through like forces of peer pressure, they talked me into going out and trying out for cross country. And I remember the first day of cross country, I was 16. They ran 4 miles around Heritage Hills. It was all dead flat. And it was, we start in like July or August or something. So it was 3 p.m.
Yeah. 119 degrees.
Yeah.
Humidity is 90%.
The whole time I'm like, this is stupid. Why would I ever do this? Now, I wrestled growing up.
Right.
And I was like pretty bad, honestly, at wrestling. And the coaches would always be like, "Oh my God, Rice, I can't believe you do that. How are you this stupid?" and blah, 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 blah.
Yes, I am very dumb. Thank you, Coach.
Exactly. So I was trash. This is the first run ever. All right.
It's knowing your strengths and weaknesses, ladies and gentlemen. And this guy knows. Be humble, everyone.
Mm-hmm. So I come in from this run, and I'm expecting to get yelled at. And all my buddies are there. And I'm like dang near throwing up. And I get in, and everybody's like clapping and super positive. They're like, "Dude, that's the farthest you've ever ran by like more than twice." And it was just the wildest thing because I'd always kind of hated sports going in there. I played baseball growing up. There was people on the other teams that were like bullies to me, so I would just get beaned by pitches all the time. Like that's it. My on base percentage was insane because they would just nail me with the ball.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, every time. Oh my God. See, I'd name names right now, but.
I will have to agree though. Jeez. Like I did sports, up through school or whatever, and then like after high school and stuff, I just dropped it. Right. And then like I didn't do anything but like smoke weed and sit on the couch and play video games and all this shit, right?
Yeah.
And then like Brian and I started getting close, but then like I was like, let's do a triathlon out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Just like let's do it.
Can't stand this guy, dude. I'm so shitty about it.
Wait till you get into ultras.
fuck.
See, I would like to do an ultra bike, like something like long distance bike. I would love to do, but like, I'm not a runner.
What's a
I hate
minimum
running.
ultra? Is that just 100 miles?
Yeah.
No. Ultra is anything over 26.2.
Just anything over a marathon?
Right. So it generally starts at 50K, which is 31 and change.
Oh, I could do that.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I fully believe everybody can do that. I like to 18-minute miles. 18-minute miles is normally a cutoff. It's about a 30-hour cutoff for most 100-mile races.
Really?
Your preferred walking speed is maybe 20 minutes a mile or faster. So if you get out and walk, like at a pretty good clip, you'll make the cutoffs.
Yeah, that would be hard. Okay, so I don't know. I'm just thinking about like so when I run like a 6 mile, I'm anywhere like in 8 to 10. It depends if it's like a brick sesh or not. You know what I'm saying? If my legs are fresh or if they're beat the fuck up. But I'm anywhere like 8 to 10. If I did a marathon, 26 miles, dude, I don't know. I bet I could still do 11-minute miles.
Well, that's one thing that like while we're touching on the running stuff, you know, like what's the difference? Like, okay, so say you're gonna run a 6 mile or whatever race or like a marathon or an ultra, like. What's your prep difference? You know, like
up to a marathon. So a marathon training and ultra marathon training are extremely similar.
Have you done an ultra?
Yeah.
How many have you done?
Just one.
Just one.
And what was the distance on it, out of curiosity?
It was a 50K, but it ended up being closer to 34 miles. It was up in Brown County.
Ooh.
Oh, B-Town.
Yeah, good time.
Damn, that's what's up, dude.
It was fun.
No issue finding a nice cold beverage afterwards, I'm assuming.
Not at all.
Yeah,
No,
dude. B-Town's. That's what's up, man.
But what were you going to say about training for it, wise?
Oh, no. So, like, I can go down the physiology rabbit hole, like, real deep. But if you're doing a 5K, if you're doing, like, anywhere from, like, a mile, 2 miles, 5K, most of that's all dependent on, like, your VO2 max. And you've got, I always tell people, you've got 3 engines running at all time when it comes to endurance stuff. All right, you've got your aerobic engine, which gets mostly all its energy from fat oxidation in your lungs.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got your anaerobic engine, which...
Them proteins, boy, them enzymes.
You start breaking down glycogen and stuff for that kind of energy. And now you've got an expiration date. So you get more power, but you can only do that for so long.
Finite.
Right. And then if you do like a box jump, that's all ATP, PC. That's that quick explosive power, right?
Yeah.
So they're all 3 getting used in different percentages, right? So if you're going for something that's about an hour or longer, it really becomes important to kind of toe the line on those first 2 engines. So
here's my question for you real fast in this story. I have a glycogen supplement, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're training for the triathlon. Should I station that for like my bike and my run? Like a separate bottle for both?
it depends. Are you practicing with it right now?
Yeah, I use it in my I use it in my pre-workout.
So you need to be replenishing it during the race, but more importantly is your nutrition leading up to the race the week before.
Okay.
Way more important.
What did I tell you, dude?
Yeah, I mean, we're going crazy clean the week up till.
My diet's already pretty not disgusting, but like last night I had pizza. So obviously the week before or 2 weeks before even, probably not going to have any pizza.
Well, we're talking about engines. Think of it as fuel. What kind of quality fuel you want to give your engine to burn.
So I do a lot of I'm a big spinach guy.
Yeah.
I like a nice spinach.
I just take my greens in a shake.
Yeah. A spinach omelet this morning.
I'm gonna go clean, and I'm gonna go no booze the whole week before, and properly hydrate, and probably get an IV the day before too, if I can. I'm gonna try to get an IV the day before. But other than that, just I think he's right, man. But you were saying, sorry, not to cut off the conversation. We were saying the two motors.
Oh, sure.
You've got to kind of teeter them.
Exactly.
For anything over an hour.
The longer it gets over like a 10K, then it becomes more about like your training leading up to it. Really, your race has been run and won months before you even actually showed up at the start line. Yeah. Because you have to physiologically know exactly where you are. Now, granted, you can throw some real serious guts into it at the end or something like that.
Oh yeah, just finish up on some serious ass, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Just open that stride.
Where do you think how much of the race do you think is mental?
It depends. The longer it is, the more important it is. And ultra marathon's almost entirely mental.
Yeah.
Really, you want to show up as fit as you possibly can to the start line, but if you look at some of the research, the people that are more muscular, that are more built like you as opposed to me, for the most part.
Do better in ultras?
Yes, women
Why?
do fantastic in ultras.
I would think it'd be the opposite because I'm so dense that
Not
it's
so
just
much. I think it's about durability more than anything else. Now, I worked in and I don't know if I brought this up at all, but in 2014 I went out to Colorado to do an internship with Carmichael Training Systems. Now,
Oh, cool. Okay.
they coach elite cyclists, elite triathletes, and ultra marathon runners. So of course I was the most interested in the ultra marathoners. So I did a lot of time up in Leadville with their head of coaching. His name is Jason Koop. He has his own podcast all about ultra running. It's pretty popular.
Oh,
He's got a
sick.
couple of books out, but
Okay.
it's just God. It's just so much mental. Like once you want to show up as fit as you can to the starting line, but some of the stuff that we would have people do to train for like these 100-mile races, because you're going to be running through the night on no sleep. Have somebody set their alarm at midnight. Okay, get up and do a 3-hour long run at midnight, and then go about your day the next day.
Fuck.
I mean, it's stuff like that. It's when it's getting really rough, because it's not necessarily like, oh my gosh, I
you
did
capable?
all this hill workouts and like these great
Yeah.
long runs and stuff. It's going to be like when you're hallucinating at mile 68 because you fell behind on nutrition because your stomach started hurting. The top reasons for dropping out in ultramarathons, not an injury, it's blisters and stomach GI problems.
Wow.
I don't doubt it. There's one they do in northern Africa. It's like, I think arguably the longest ultra, and I can't recall the name.
Is that
of
the
it.
one Wim Hof did with no water?
It's through the sand dunes. That's what the only reason I know is because I watched a doc on this guy that did it, and he got lost in the desert and damn near died. But yeah, it's like 100. It might be the longest ultra. And I think it's like
So
a
Samuel,
couple hundred. You cross countries.
Doesn't that sound like fun though?
I would do it.
What-
If I could train my body to like withstand 250 miles, I would do it.
what do you think the family and the music and the outdoor stuff helps you with your mental game when it comes to these long distance runs?
I think so. It's really funny that you asked that, because anytime that I'm out there training for a long time, the one thing that I'm thinking of, like the one thing my mind always comes back to, is like music.
Really?
Like I'm out there like, oh man, it would be really cool to set up a set list like this. And like David Byrne from Talking Heads, how he did this show. And it was like, oh, so cool. And if I could draw some from that. There's just constantly like this.
I find it as like a stoner, when I hit these long runs, or long bikes, anything after a certain point, it's almost like you get that same feeling. You know what I mean? You're like, these long distance bikes have been my favorite. Any bike over like 20 miles, it's just like you feel almost stoned. And it's like, like when you're stoned, you can think you like see trees different or whatever, like it almost looks like trees are breathing to a degree. Brian doesn't know. But I feel like on these long distance bikes, just nature looks so much more beautiful. I find myself like after 20 miles, I'm like, I can be out here for 50 easily.
Right. I really do think, and to your point, how you have that same thing, you always come back to it being music. Mine is always my wife. And it's so weird that like, no matter like where my train of thought is, no matter what she is doing that day, no matter what I've got planned for the day, like whether I was negative, depressed, happy, sad, whatever, it always comes back to my wife. And I'm just like, that's something that it just like
mine's the scenery around
45 minutes into a run, I'm like, I just see her face and I'm like, oh yeah, I can't wait to get back to the house. And it's like, it always comes back to her somehow.
You made me look bad, because when my wife listens to this, she's going to be like, you're out there thinking of music, asshole. And
yeah, dude,
he's like, oh, my wife's so fantastic.
I'm thinking of my next set list. No, I'm joking. But it really is like, well, and I make that point not to make you look bad, but also to point out the fact that like exercise has to be, or at least in my opinion, the greatest form of psychological therapy. And like I've gone through like actual therapy with psychologists and so on, and psychiatrists or whatever. I've talked to those folks, didn't really care for it, which we've done an episode on that before. Check that episode out.
We didn't air the mental health.
We talked about it in the Rest in Peace, My Guest 3, I think. But anyways, but I really do. It's just like, don't you think that when you get to those longer duration of workouts, like I've been grinding for 3 hours on a Saturday. I'm like, you bet your sweet ass I got like some shit going on up here. Like, and it's a really good form of, working shit out in your head.
It's meditation. That's the most, 'cause I've gone through extensive therapy as well, and
Yeah.
they'll tell you kind of the same stuff. So, okay, well, mindfulness, you need to practice mindfulness, you need to practice meditation.
Yeah, dude.
And if I sit there and just try to do it like in a chair in my bed, it's
not
horrible.
happening.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, cool. Let me think about all the embarrassing shit that I could have done differently.
Yeah.
But you're out there.
It's something about
and-
grinding.
And that's one thing that we touch on too is like I'm bipolar, and I went through years of extensive therapy and like medication for a period of time, but like through therapy, I was able to learn coping mechanisms that I was able to wean myself off medicine and able to, I have the habits like working out and everything does wonders for my keeping me on track, the depressive states, whatever. But I was gonna say, on this mental thing, have you ever floated in a sensory deprivation tank?
No, I've not. That sounds like something I would totally do. Given the
There's a
opportunity.
place here in town
It's
called
dope.
ISO Float,
Yeah.
and if you tell them we sent you, they'll give you a discount.
All right.
dude.
But yeah, it's definitely different. But like first of all, Brian always says like he doesn't gain the mental aspect from it necessarily, but
Your
the
body.
physical aspect. Next time you do a long distance run, schedule a float afterwards and soak up that Epsom salt. Oh my goodness!
ISO float.
He
Yeah.
puts, or they put, it's a husband and wife.
There's
Josh.
2,000 pounds of Epsom salt.
Josh is the gentleman's name, and I can't remember his wife's name at this point in time. Josh Gray. Shout out, dude. But yeah, so he puts 1 metric ton of Epsom salt in every bath. And it gets cycled out every time. So like you go in, you get a brand new 2,000 pounds.
No, you don't. Okay, so the bath.
No?
So it's 2,000 pounds of Epsom, a ton of
Yeah.
Epsom salt, and then it's water and 30% hydrogen peroxide.
Oh, okay, that's right.
And then after, so say I use it, it gets filtered 4 times through UV, through another filtration system, and there's a third one, but nothing's living in that much salt and hydrogen peroxide anyways.
Yeah.
But they cycle it out every so many times, and after so many people, it has to get completely changed out.
Oh, I thought they changed it out every time.
No,
But either way,
it's 4 system filter.
there's so much salt in these tanks, dude, that like I got kind of a psychological trip from it, which was okay. It wasn't my favorite part, but my favorite part was like I was torturing my body at that time, and like, dude, you get out of there and your legs just feel like,
I could imagine you could just entirely relax.
oh yeah,
100%.
yeah.
You hear nothing but your breathing and your heartbeat.
Yeah,
And you can hear
it's
yourself
weird.
blink.
It's weird, dude.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's a weird
Yeah.
time. It's a weird time,
Huh.
mentally, but fuck.
You got this.
Next segment, segue.
So no, but I was gonna
you got this.
so after USI and stuff,
Yeah.
you end up going to Colorado. Did you meet your wife before you went to Colorado?
Oh yeah. We actually went to high school together, but she we talked maybe once. I made fun of her. I was like captain on the track team, so I was loud and obnoxious and outgoing and stuff, and she kind of ran funny with her arms kind of going like this, and I picked on her a couple times.
Does she still run that way?
No,
Oh, okay.
So,
Tighten up.
is she
brought
fairly
those elbows.
into?
it's still the same flavor, but it's not quite as intense.
I was gonna say she's fairly athletic as well.
For the most part, we ran this morning.
So, which I was saying, she's understanding of like your long distance runs, or hey babe, I got to go run 6 miles this morning. Like
for the most part, I try to, and when you have kids, it's slightly different because you get like a weird kind of guilt if you're leaving us, because we have 2 little girls,
Right.
And one's about to turn 2 and the other one turned 3 in April, so they are a fucking handful.
yeah.
like
Not easy.
They are pirates right now. It is insane.
Yeah, my kid just turned 6 and he's finally civilized.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like-
So I get like basically what I try to do is, like I was saying, I was getting up at like 3:30 and 4 a.m. at some point in time for training. And I don't do that anymore, but I try to schedule my training to where I'm not making things too hard on her, and to where it's like time that I wouldn't have got to see the girls
Right.
anyway because they were doing something else.
Are you big on reading?
Yeah. Oh,
Or
dude.
do you put in audiobooks on your long distance runs?
I do podcasts now and then. Audiobooks, but a lot of times I listen to instrumental stuff.
Oh, I love a good instrumental.
Yeah,
If
like-
these trees could talk.
That's
God
that
bless you.
post rock type stuff.
Yeah.
So you're like Godspeed You, Black Emperor, and
Oh yeah, Godspeed You, Black Emperor is
Yeah.
so beautiful. I love that band. And then who's another one? Explosions in the
Explosions
Sky.
in the Sky is like my go-to.
Cream of the crop.
If you can only ever see one band live, Explosions in the Sky. It was, I don't know.
Were there explosions in the sky?
For me, it was explosions in the sky. No, it was insane.
There'd be an explosion in my pants, dude.
Yeah, just about. Just about.
Do you put them on?
They
for
do a lot of edging.
Do you put it on for like the beats per minute?
No, I put it on because it actually kind of calms you down.
Okay.
I get a little bit too fired up out there.
So
It's like good. It's like the same music, like Explosions in the Sky, is the same music that you could hear playing in a massage parlor. Like, it'd be the music you could play while you're getting a massage.
Right.
Like, it's very therapeutic and it gets a little rowdy, like, but the whole song is like a guitar.
Ebbs and flows.
Yeah,
and
it's
and flows.
There's
It builds
peaks and valleys. Yeah.
So it's like a orchestral piece,
right.
Yeah.
Except it's a rock band that does it, and it's entirely instrumental.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
So like movements in the song, it's awesome.
So have you checked out Endure by Cameron Haynes?
Yes, I think I'm only 3 or 4 chapters in right now.
It's so good. But I read this book and like we already had you booked in for the studio, you know, and I'm like, man, this guy's a hunter and he's a long distance runner. And I'm like, wait, we got a podcast with both. Essentially, do you think that when you're running helps with outdoor like hunting and stuff?
I mean,
Cameron Haynes hunts on the ground like with a bow and arrow. Have you ever done anything like that?
Oh, sure. Yeah, well, his main thing is out there for elk. Now that's a bucket list thing for me.
Oh, I would love to hunt an elk.
Right. Yeah. Now I do whitetail, and my favorite thing is going out. Like, have you heard of the hunting public?
I have not.
So I love going out with my bow to sometimes place that I've never seen before. Just public land that anybody can go to and like just figuring it out. So going out with my climbing tree stand or just sitting on the ground and hunting this, like what I really love doing is looking at aerial photos and terrain and stuff beforehand.
Do you have a drone?
No, I don't have a drone.
If you had a drone, would you fly it out in these areas and survey?
It's all online already.
I'm just saying, take me out next time and let's go running through the woods with bows and arrows. I got a drone.
I think there's actual like DNR wise. I think there's laws that keep you from doing that, because otherwise you go up there and you're like, oh, the deer here, let's go freaking get them.
Right.
A little bit not as fair. And I
just meant to like survey the land before,
a
day before, go out and fly the drone, and then the next day go back to camp and view the footage.
The nice thing about aerial photos is, like with whitetail, I always go by the thing is they're edge animals. So when you're on like aerial photos, you can see one from winter,
like a clearing.
Well, you can see like a run.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because if you drive down the road, like every once in a while, you'll see them in a field. Are they ever in the middle of the field? No, they're in the corners. They're next to the edges, that sort of thing. They're edge animals. When they travel through the woods, they'll travel on the edge of a ridge, or they'll travel on like a flat spot, that sort of thing.
Can you explain the purpose behind that? Is there like a reason that we've come to all agree on, or is it like for evasiveness maybe, or what?
I would think it breaks their silhouette more than anything, as far as like on the edge of trees and stuff. Because if they're out in the middle, it's pretty easy to spot, especially if you like.
Yeah, like if I'm a black bear and I see a deer in a clearing, you're mine.
Right.
Have you ever hunted? Okay, so you hunt coyotes too as well, right?
Yeah.
What do you do with a coyote? Those little bastards.
I don't do anything. Have
you dreamed of going to California and just hunting them for a living?
You know,
they pay $100 a coyote, $50 an ear.
When I lived in Cincinnati, I had people that were contacting me because I put up a page like, hey, I want to hunt property. If you have any kind of property. And I was like, hey, I've got property, but I want you to kill all the coyotes because I'm worried for my dogs. And it was multiple people, and they offered me, and I was like, sir, this is the middle of the city. He's like, you can sit up with a 243. I was like, no, no, sir, that is not okay. Yeah, but my favorite thing is deer more than anything else.
The meat is just so fucking rich,
and that's exactly it.
And it's like the most abundant source of meat around here.
I had venison stew for lunch today,
dude.
I tried to get 3 or 4.
Deer.
Yeah,
like my dad. So like I don't do very well with blood. I can hunt it, I can't gut it, but
really?
once it's all, I pass out.
Huh.
I used to have to take health class from the nurse's office, dog. Talk about being made fun of all through middle school and high school.
Don't talk about your fucking knee surgery that you just had, or we might lose Tommy halfway through the episode.
But like, I can shoot a deer, and my dad will gut it, and he'll skin it, and then like he'll rip all the meat off, and I can process it myself. Mm-hmm. You know, but it's the
Tell him about Lance Armstrong.
I watched the Lance Armstrong documentary, and they're talking about blood doping, and I passed out.
Oh,
like Saturday, like I was telling you about.
Yeah.
That's
what caused. Okay.
Yeah, dude, and it's nuts.
Was it Icarus?
Oh
I don't.
Documentary on Netflix.
No, it was on Disney.
Oh, okay.
But
Shout out to Led Zeppelin, by the way.
Yeah.
Go
Jimmy
Icarus,
Page.
dude.
Let's go. Oh, I got
but
it.
Yeah.
anyways,
JP
like,
is God.
has there any been? What's like the strangest meat you ever ate?
Ooh, that's a good question.
This is just like perfect for jokes, but we had beaver at reenactment one time.
Really?
Yeah.
What's that taste like?
I don't know. It's
It's all taste gamey.
how do you describe gamey to somebody? It's a different brand of gamey than deer
Right.
gamey.
So I brought Brian black bear, and he's had venison.
What's the consistency? So like
it's tougher. It's
kind of like squirrel maybe.
yeah. Even though like if you
Squirrel's
prepare a
very
squirrel,
stringy and dense.
yeah, because that muscle fiber is also small.
Here's
I think that's part of
I got
it.
I got some more questions.
Okay.
Would you eat deer?
Would I
Or
eat?
not deer, horse. Would you eat a horse?
Yeah.
I would love to try some horse.
I would eat anything except a human.
Yeah. We had a trapper
legal
on that was
reasons.
talking about bobcats.
Nothing bothers me.
We had a
You heard it here, folks.
I would do the same. We had a trapper on that gets bobcats, but like in Indiana you can't kill a bobcat, but in Kentucky you can.
Mhm.
And he said when they skin it up, it looks like rabbit.
Yeah.
And I was like, next time you get one,
Rabbit
let me
meat's
know.
like super light colored. Yeah, I could. Yeah.
Would you eat a dog?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would too.
I wonder what coyote is like because I bet it's a very fresh dog.
There's a meat eater episode where they cook up a coyote.
No way.
All
I
right.
love meat eater.
All right,
Yeah.
here's my Chihuahua question.
Oh, here we go.
I asked a few people this before. Your middle basketball court,
Uh-huh.
only your hands and feet.
Yeah.
How many angry Chihuahuas can you take on?
Angry Chihuahua.
Rabid. They're foaming at the mouth.
Well,
These are not your ordinary Chihuahua.
if
They
they're,
are much.
if they're
aggressive.
actually rabid, you already have a death sentence.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do?
You're getting bit.
I mean, how many do you think you can take before you just can't do it anymore?
Well, I feel like what? Do you just have to fight your way out?
There's no way out. That endless swarm.
So it's just
Call of Duty
how-
zombies of
really,
Chihuahuas.
really, the question is, how many Chihuahuas do you think you could kill?
Yeah.
How
Before
how
they
many-
tear you
yeah,
to shreds.
How many do you think it's going to take to kill you? Is the question.
I mean, probably a good like 400, I would think.
Okay. How many
Wow.
squirrels?
Wow.
Oh, you know what? Squirrels are more scary to me.
Exactly.
Everyone
Chihuahuas.
says that. Yeah.
I would not fuck with a squirrel.
Dude, I love squirrels. I went to U of E, and they're like domesticated
Oh yeah,
on U of E campus.
I coach pole vault at U of E. I
Oh,
don't know if you
gang, dude! Shout out to U of E. I'm still waiting on. You probably know the gentleman, Professor. Oh, we're trying to get one of the exercise science professors out here. I'm struggling to remember his name right now.
know.
Dr. Rod. I don't know if you know him or not.
I don't.
Older
no.
gentleman.
I've
Great,
only been there a year.
great
now.
guy. Great guy.
So do you pay attention to your VO2 max and stuff like that? Like, so
I
like
did.
my watch and stuff shows us like our resting heart rate and VO2 max estimate or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But like,
Go get it done.
for
go-
what it's worth,
Go talk to. Here's the thing.
the
do
test
they
sucks,
do they do
though.
blood and
The-
needles? That's what I'm asking.
No.
Okay,
No.
then I
No,
might try it.
Tell him about the test. Yeah.
The test is. I've had it done twice. The test is absolutely brutal, and for whatever reason, it's actually worse on a bike. I think.
Oh, I've only ever done it on a tread.
Yeah. Essentially, they put a mask on you. It's nose and mouth.
Like a restricted breathing mask.
Nope, just
Okay.
flow,
No.
free
And it-
flow.
Okay.
Like that is fine. Some of them, if you want it like super duper accurate, they'll pinch your nose off and you'll only have the mouth
Mouth.
portion.
I'm big on nose breathing.
Yeah, so you could do this because it's just a mask. And essentially, you get on a treadmill, you warm up, they get you all hooked up, everything's going, and then about every minute you increase the incline. So you're going at like maybe a 5K type
Okay.
of pace, and then they increase it until you fall the fuck off, basically, until
Okay.
you cannot go anymore.
Yeah, like they want you literally right at the verge of collapse
Mm-hmm.
because the point of the test is to see, like, okay, your lungs are able to operate at this. Now you're done. You know what I mean? Like, it's literally the most.
Yeah.
I hate it. I think I've done it twice, and I did them
It's-
both on a treadmill, and they fucking sucked.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like it's important actually to have hype people in the room to get a really good test.
Oh yeah, dude, you got to have a crowd.
Yeah, but since I've administered so many more than I've actually taken for myself, you got to make sure that your numbers peak out, because generally before somebody actually falls off the treadmill, what you see is a peak and then a plateau. And
Yeah,
it
they
just
start
kinda
to
stays and it
They
plateaus.
start to quit. Really.
And then they fall off. Now, if somebody's still on the way up and then they cancel the test or whatever, you're just like, come on, pussy.
yeah.
Right.
No,
Like,
no,
you,
no.
you weren't actually there. Like, let's go.
Dude, I have another. The Chihuahua question just sparked my memory. I have a good question that I've asked a couple people on this show. Okay. Go to this place with me, right? Close your eyes. You're in the shower. Turn the water off. You hop out. You're drying off. First article of clothing you put on, go. Every time.
I have Under Armour boxer jocks.
You go straight to the draws?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to ask him, what animal could you take on with it? What's the biggest animal you think you could kill with your bare hands?
Well, that's harsh. I will tell you, I'm terrified of mountain lions. I don't know that I could take a adult one.
There's a couple of them around here.
Yeah, I saw some trail camera videos.
Dicey. Dicey.
Man, I don't know. Like I know that there's not very many around here, but when I'm walking in my woods, like walking through the woods in the morning with my tree stand on, I'm just like, every noise, fucking cougar.
Do you ever train with your tree stand on?
No.
No. Do you ever train with like extra weight?
I have before.
Resistance with your aerobic, I guess, like pack training.
Do. You'd be surprised at what I'm doing right now, actually.
Well,
have you ever done a
me.
triathlon?
Hey,
yeah.
He's explaining his new training regimen.
Okay.
I want to hear this.
That's not necessarily new or anything.
But new to you.
Well,
it surprised me is what you said, so I want to be surprised.
Yeah, so like...
What are we doing?
I want to do a 100-miler. It's pretty hard with kids or whatever, so that's what I'm training for right now.
That's fucking gnarly.
I walk an obscene amount, okay?
Okay.
Because when you get going in an ultra, it's kind of crazy. Like on the long stuff and on the really hard stuff, it is a lot of power hiking more than anything. Now, you can look at studies about like when is it more economical going uphill to run as opposed to walk.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at an ultra look at it like a really long hike where you run in the best the best possible scenarios, like maybe
like
some downhills, not even steep downhills, flats, slight downhills, and the rest of it you save yourself because that is 100 miles. That's insane.
That's like a third of the width of the state of Indiana.
And what's that lady that just like got the fastest time on 100 plus? She like fell. She was like hallucinating. She fell and like busted her head, and then like kept going. She ended up winning it by like a huge distance.
Was it a Western? Was it a Western States?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think her name is Chrissy.
I know who you're talking about. And the only reason I know is
she was on Rogan and she wrote a book.
Yes, that's. I know who you're talking about. Fuck, I can't remember.
You're not talking about Courtney Dowalter.
That might be it.
Because she's kind of like one of my heroes, but I didn't know that.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Like
she just did Hard Rock this past weekend.
Who all are like? Who do you look up to in like the endurance game? Because I mean, there's David Goggins. There's this. What's her name again? Courtney. You know, I mean, even Jocko's powerful.
Yeah. So, well, it's funny because you hit like most of my big ones anyway. Jocko and Goggins.
Are you a big Wim Hof person?
Not yet. No.
Do you believe in the cold?
The cold immersion. Yeah. I honestly haven't looked into it enough to like form an opinion. Right. I know how bad I hate.
Are you big on like nose breathing? I read the book Breath, and it's talking about like all about through the nose. Brian's an infantryman. He's stubborn. He's all through the mouth. Refuses to try the nose.
A lot of mouth. All the time.
But I found since breathing,
intake.
Since focusing only on my nose, my heart rate dropped even by a few beats per minute. I love watching my heart rate drop. I love getting the notification in the middle of the night that my heart rate got below 40 beats per minute.
Yeah. Do this next time when you're doing your breaths. This is something I learned from Bill Dellinger, University of Oregon. When you go to exhale, kind of like get your teeth together and really like on the way out, because that increase of pressure increases the amount of oxygen that's essentially forced into your lungs even on the exhale. So you get to run and you're feeling crappy sometime and watch that heart rate and do that for a good like 1 minute breath cycle and be like, well, I dropped myself by 7-8 beats per minute because I increased the oxygen that I got in.
Dude, so I just out of curiosity, I'm assuming you're following your biometrics on your runs, like live
for the
feed,
most part,
like with a watch or something?
Yeah.
Or do you do the chest?
The chest.
Everybody has their preference.
Yeah.
I feel like the chest is probably more accurate.
I'm huge on heart rate monitoring for somebody that I'm just starting into training. Mm-hmm. And then once they get a feel for it, I want them to throw it off and not pay attention to it. And I'm not knocking on you for what you're doing.
No, I was about to ask if I could go on a run with you to teach me. You know?
Yeah, so...
We don't live too far apart.
No, we don't. I ran on Grimm Road
I watched Strava. So. You know, I see your Strava stuff.
Yeah, it's right down there. reiterate the question again. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I hadn't really asked yet, but I was assuming that you followed your biometrics live feed as you're running, right?
Right.
So,
And I try not to get too crazy about the numbers. I focus more on time.
so I follow mine. It's live. Like when you're doing a workout with your Apple Watch, it's live. You can look down and see your, beats per minute or whatever. And then your time, your miles, your pace, whatever. It gives you all that live data. But I really like to tear into it after my run and go through the data and be like, oh, damn, my heart rate was this, that, and there. I was pushing this hard. But anyways, my question was going to be like, if you do check your biometrics while you're running on like a longer run, let's say like a 16 mile on like a Wednesday after work, what is your heart rate typically on a longer, average day run, like 16 miles? Do you know where you hover at, like 130? Yeah, well, 150.
Now you're getting into one of those things where I'm going to try not to like go nuts here, but I know my heart rate max is 186.
Okay,
186. All right,
because your age?
No, I test it.
Oh, okay.
I'm positive it's 186. So it's really important to know what your actual max is because how old are you?
I'm 32. So my maximum heart rate should be 198.
Should be. No, it should be 188, right? If you're looking at the old classic
188.
220
Yeah,
minus
188.
age,
Yeah.
that can be wildly off. That can be 15,
Really?
20 beats per minute off unless you actually go and get it tested.
That's intriguing.
During your VO2 max, if you wore a chest strap, you will get up to a heart rate max.
Oh,
you can yank that number from that.
That's neat.
But to answer your question, because I know where my zones are, I like to keep I'd like to keep it at a speed limit. Like I want to stay under 160 at all times.
Okay.
On endurance stuff. Now, with that said, you cannot trust heart rate. You can't trust it one lick.
Really?
Yeah, because right now, like you can be in fantastic shape and you go out and run in this July BS
at 92% humidity.
Right. So there are so many better training metrics to look at. Like TSS is probably your most helpful.
Okay.
Which is training stress score.
Okay.
And that takes into account the grade. So like the incline and decline of the run that you were on, along with your pace, along with I can't remember if Training Peaks has it taken weather conditions or not. But all of that stuff is more important. If you get out, you have too many beers the night before, your heart rate's automatically going to be 8, 9, 10 beats higher than what it was.
Really?
Yeah. The heat comes up, it's going to be bad. The humidity comes up, it's going to be bad.
Mine still hovers at like a 130. Like on my runs,
Is
when
it
I'm
a wrist based?
and radial. But when I know.
You prefer the Garmin?
Chest strap is the only one.
I wish I could get rid of my
reliable.
Apple
Really?
Watch and get a Garmin.
Yeah.
I wish I never got an Apple Watch and I switched to Garmin.
Now the optical stuff is improving in the wrist, but it's pretty bad, especially if you are like the darker skin tone you are, the less accurate it gets.
Just the more
because it's
melanin
harder
you
to
have.
see through.
Yeah.
So as you know, we're training for a triathlon.
Right.
You've done a triathlon.
Right.
What advice do you have for us? Like even I mean, we're 3 weeks out now, but even just what advice would you give to us?
What are your
in the beginning?
distances?
So it's a 1 mile swim, a 26 mile bike, and a 6 mile run.
Piece of cake, right?
It'll be fine. You're going to don't expect anything the first mile of your run. And do not freak out. It will be okay.
It's going to hurt.
Because you're going to get off the bike and you're hammered on the bike. And this is something that you can actually
I'm
train.
jacked when I come off the bike. I love it.
I want you to train. I want you to train and ride 20 miles hard and then get off that bike and run a good, like, solid 5 miles. Because the minute, you got to transition like you're doing it in a triathlon.
Right.
You got to pop off, get the shoes on, and go with as little time as possible. Your legs do not respond.
Oh, yeah.
And it takes a while, and they will respond. And I wish, like, somebody had told me that before my first one. I also got rhabdo pretty bad on my first one.
So when you did
What
your
is
first
that?
one,
Rhabdomyolysis, it is essentially your muscle got damaged so bad, like it kind of ate
Tightened
itself.
up?
No, it ate itself,
Oh,
and
man.
your pee looks like Dr. Pepper.
Oh, gross.
You're peeing out erythrocytes and stuff from your kidneys. It's pretty nasty. I felt
Would you call
like
it rhabdomyolysis?
yes.
Rhabdomyolysis.
Yeah. Most everybody calls it rhabdo.
Yeah. I think I've heard of this before, but yeah, you're pissing out
So
your
when you did your
sarcomeres
first,
and shit.
did you practice freestyle or
That's funny you say that. I am such a trash swimmer. It's so bad. I breaststroked 90%.
We both trained on the breaststroke.
Yeah.
I freestyle, so I do 100 meters breaststroke, and then I swim back 25 meters freestyle, and then I do the rest breaststroke because the freestyle gets my heart rate up, and then on the way back I'm struggling for air.
Can I say something? Did you wetsuit?
No,
you didn't.
Nope. It'd help a ton. I'm negative buoyant.
So am I. I'm very, very dense. I get in the water and I just sink.
Me. Yep.
Yeah. And I'm not a sprinter, which doesn't make sense to me. So like, I feel like I should, if anything, be.
See, I'm fast at short distances, but long distance, I think it's mental for me. I know I could do long distance, but I
tried my wetsuit in the pool the other day. Dude, you say it helps. It because I've been training breaststroke this whole time, I finally tried it on, got in the water. I was like, yeah, it's pulling me to the top. Like, there's no way I'm going to drown in this thing. And it like literally pulls you to the top. It makes you so much more buoyant that like breaststroke is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like in a wetsuit, breaststroke is not ideal. However, me being a trash freestyle swimmer, I actually knocked out 250 in a freestyle. And I was like, if I could just figure my breathing out, I was like, fuck, I should have bought this wetsuit like 9 months ago. And I would have been freestyling because it just feels so right. In a wetsuit if you're in a wetsuit, you need to learn to freestyle. Like if you're going to do a try and you're going to rock a wetsuit, you need to freestyle.
I'll agree.
It's so easy to just stay. It keeps you here. Like your whole body just stays that way.
Makes me want to try again, honestly.
Dude, and get a wetsuit.
Hey, I got an idea though. They do 3-part. You can do like a relay.
Yeah.
So we get somebody to do the swim. I'll do the bike. And then we get you to do the run or something, Like
I'm not that good of a runner, but I'll hold my own.
I just need a better bike. That's all I need.
Dude, our bikes are trash. But we'll be okay, man. It's all about completion, not competing.
I did want to ask. So Brian doesn't like to work out with other people. It's like pulling teeth to get him to work out with me.
That's true.
Do you feel the same way?
Depends. I'm
a trash runner, and I would love to like try. Like if I run with somebody else, I run better. It's me versus myself out there. But if I have somebody else that's keeping a pace,
sure,
I would annihilate you. Just so we're clear.
Well, yeah, but I would love to be annihilated because like that would make me want to be better.
No, I don't. I don't necessarily mind. I actually really, really miss the team dynamics of like cross country and whatnot. But
running in formation, Indian runs, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but for what it is right now, I hate trying to coordinate with other people. I do not hate running or working
15 minutes early.
I know exactly what I need to do. I know exactly what I want to do. Yeah. I know exactly and it's kind of like a problem with knowing as much as I do about physiology is because if I get into a gym, I know what I should have done, exactly what I should have been doing, and blah blah blah.
I want to talk on what's it called, kinesiology. No, you studied kinesiology, but what is calisthenics? Calisthenics.
Mine was
you practice some calisthenics, right? I saw a video of you at the gym, and you get the pull-up bar, and you do like these opposite.
That's a pole vault drill.
It's like a core workout, essentially, is what it looked like. A pull-up with like working your core out.
So that's a pole
stabilization.
Vault drill. Your hands are up here. You swing your feet up to your hands, and then you extend upwards to where it's almost.
And you never did any gymnastics or anything, right?
No.
I feel like a lot. Like when I watched that, I was like, "This dude's a fucking gymnast." You know what I mean? Like,
all that's pole vault. If you can do that, you can jump really high. You got to figure out how to do that, and it's not. Do you know how hard it is to teach that? Like I've been coaching pole vault for forever. It's not muscle. Like I'm not the most muscular person. You have to know how to do it, and it's like something you can't explain. Like how do you explain to somebody how to balance on a bike?
Right.
How do you sometimes it feels like this, and then you move your body like this, and like how the hell do you even verbalize?
They just have to watch it and be like, I know what I need to do.
So like in Cameron Haynes' book, could you imagine so his dad and this other guy, the other guy's the guy that invented in pole vaulting, twisting your body when you go over the pole.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you got that far in the book yet, but he talks about how he went to school with the guy that
Scott Huffman.
Yeah, that method's named after him or whatever. But like, how much of a difference does that make? You think?
He was, if you look at stats, he was the highest person above his handhold. So he wasn't the world record holder, but like you grip at a certain place on a pole. Now you got to subtract 8 inches because you plant into an 8-inch deep box. But as far as like actually springing up where you're holding on the pole, he has the record for how high he jumped over where he held on.
Have you ever missed the box?
Yeah. I've shattered my foot. Yeah.
So there's consequences if you fuck up, for sure.
Yeah. I like it's the craziest thing ever. And here's the thing, like why you remember if we go all the way back to the beginning where I said I want somebody tall, fast, and stupid. Mm-hmm. Stupid being the most important.
Yep.
This is the stupidest sport ever. Like you are going to get hurt. There's a concrete box here, and you got pads around here, but only here. You vault over here or straight back on the runway. Like
you're a story and a half in the air. It's not gonna end well. Something's breaking.
What's prep like that? Do you just practice running with the pole at first, and then you practice running with the pole and hitting the box and stopping? Or
you practice like moving with the pole, because that's one thing. You actually have to hold it almost like a steady cam, which I'm sure you guys probably know what that is.
I do, at least.
Yeah, it's a steady cam. Like your arms have to be the steady cam for the pole, and then you have to learn to sprint, like go all out, because the most dangerous thing in pole vault is holding back. You have to go all out. It has to be 115% every time. So there's a thing called a sliding box, and I'd make them out of like 2x4s, and it'd be a replica of the box. You put it on the track, and when you hit it with it, it'll actually like move, and it gives a lot of resistance. All right, so that teaches you to hit with the pole tip, but it also teaches you to be really, really strong in an extended position, because like if I had you stand up right now and touch the sky as high as you could, and I pretend like I was going to smack you in the chest, you immediately go to tense up.
Correct.
Well, pole vaulting's fucking scary.
Right.
Your body wants to tense up. Like it does not ever want to be
just
extended like
free
that.
Flowing.
So that's another skill that you have to develop. They have to know that they got to be tall and how to be tall and powerful at the same time. And then we can take you into an actual pole vault pit if I don't think you're going to kill yourself.
What's post like? Do you roll a lot or do you ball?
What do you mean?
So like
Post,
Brian has a
post-workout.
foam roller, and I have like a lacrosse ball that I roll out on. Like what's
that stuff? I was big on ice baths for recovery if I felt real beat up. Always foam rolled. I'm surprisingly not huge on static stretching unless you have a specific area that you need to work
Do you stretch before your runs or anything like that, or you just free ball it?
Dynamic workout.
Oh,
or
right.
Dynamic something, or I actually like build in
I like that you said free ball.
free ball. Yeah.
Dude,
Why not?
I'm out here free balling, baby. Do you
Yeah.
wear socks when you run?
Yeah.
You do?
Oh, dude, I'm a sock snob.
Oh, really? So you got like the cushions and like compression ankle socks and
These
like,
are merino wool. I think they're like 28
I'm
at
sorry,
30
you're
a
getting
pair.
so much dog hair on
All
your
right, I got a
beautiful
handful.
socks.
I got a handful of advice questions.
Yeah.
Advice for hunters.
Okay.
Advice for people wanting to get into running more,
Okay.
and then advice for the triathlon.
Okay. Advice for hunters. There is so much that you can learn on YouTube, and this applies to a lot of stuff in life. But
Oh, for sure.
I think I got one deer growing up. All right, we hunted every day deer season. Like we never saw anything. We had a horrible place to hunt. There was never any deer there.
Terrible
We did everything
plot.
wrong. I had no idea what we were doing, but I loved it because I was out in the woods with my dad. Then I moved to Cincinnati, and I hadn't hunted for forever, and I started watching the hunting public on YouTube and learning a lot about it. And then guys like Cam and Meat Eater and all those guys, and just like teaching myself some of this stuff. If you're just getting into hunting, like don't go find some old guy if you need to. Like get on YouTube and watch some of this.
So you're
You can-
self-taught essentially. You grew up hunting, but
Yeah.
like you lost it for a while,
So-
and then you came back and self-taught.
Well, what about
Yeah.
what about for like Brian, who's never hunted, just got his hunting license, but like doesn't know how to gut a deer, or anything like that? Just
Videos.
YouTube it.
Bring your phone out. You can ask people what's helpful. Like the gutting gloves I've used before. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
We never had that. I've had like this watch has been inside at least a dozen deer.
Okay. Damn.
Yeah.
Dude.
So
Okay.
you don't think
All right,
about
Daddy.
this stuff.
Damn,
right?
dude, he's up here just fucking. Yeah, dude, this watch has been inside
And
9
then,
does, bro.
Let's actually go to advice for musicians, because that's a key part of you as well.
Advice for musicians. Rhythm more than anything else. When I teach people guitar,
Do you think bass helps with that? Like, because like that's what like the big thing. Like when I got into like I talked about it on some previous episodes, they were talking about like I went to try out for percussion because I wanted to do drums, and they had like the bass drum or whatever. It's got like 4 notes, and they were like high, low, whatever. And they were like, I was able to nail all those 100%, and they were like, we need a bass player for the orchestra, and I'm not going to let you into percussion because we need that more.
Mm.
And so, like, but they said, like, the bass keeps the rhythm and the groove, you
Yeah.
know, and everything along those lines. Do you think that
could
helped
see
you
that,
play a
yeah.
guitar?
I could see that.
I think it's very helpful. I think practicing with a metronome and not just freewheeling it is the most important.
That's interesting. I've never done that.
Yeah, or like when I'm teaching somebody, I always say focus on your right hand. Your
Have
right
you ever ran with a metronome?
ran
Some people run with metronomes.
cadence.
Yeah.
I've trained some people with cadence stuff before.
I like cadence a lot. Cadence
who
is
have really
nice.
bad problems.
So for musicians, practice cadence.
Practice with a metronome and being able to stay.
And then for hunters, just stay on the path and watch YouTube.
Yeah,
and like,
educate
just
yourself.
research.
Like there is no reason to get out there and like have no idea what you're doing. Well, I hope this works out well. Are you
Right.
kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna hunt here. Let me look up what some people have to say that are very, very successful at this, and then go from
And
there.
then what advice would you have told me a year ago when I was sitting on the couch smoking weed and then saying, hey, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to run a triathlon.
Something's better than nothing. So people get caught up a lot of times, and like I feel like I don't know if I already kind of get the vibe that you guys are very, very like committed and you're stoked about this or whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
But
It's going to go horrible.
whatever you do, you're doing something. Like
One foot in front of another.
unless you're injuring yourself, you're getting better. And a lot of people really like overthink it. And whether it's stuff to do with the heart rate, whether it's like stuff to do with transitions or getting fit on the bike or whatnot, nothing is nothing replaces getting out there and wearing the rubber off the bottom of your shoe.
And doing it and just getting it in.
Whether it's, oh my God, was that too easy today? Did I hit it exactly how I was supposed to? You're not going to.
Yeah.
Did you go out there and try to be better today? And did you learn something if it didn't go right?
Right.
100%. And I think, like you said, training those like ultra athletes, it's like I take that mentality into all things. Like inconvenience of pain, I'm all about that. Or even like mental pain, like I'm having a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
I do not want to go do 9 miles. I go and do 9
Well,
miles.
then I better do 12.
Yeah, I go out there and I still go get it, even though I'm tired. I ate like shit yesterday. I feel like shit today.
That's what I felt like the other day. So like I biked to Bob's, right, in Newburgh. And it's like I took a long ride. It was like 6 miles. And I got into the pool and I was like, I'm going to bike, I'm going to swim, and then I'm going to nail another long distance bike, after. And I got there and they're like, senior aerobics. And I'm like, I'm not sitting in the pool with some seniors. And I left there and the triathlon's 26 miles. And I started biking. I was like, I'm going to knock out 20 miles. I already did 6.
Mm-hmm.
And I hit 20 and I was like, I'm doing 26 in the triathlon. Like, I got to do 26 in a row so I can get my, my metrics for the 26.
Yeah.
And I just pushed through for that last 6, but it's like, it's almost like that mental power that you're talking about of like,
I think that's a
wanting
lot
to
of it.
check yourself.
Yeah.
Getting through mental and physical pain.
Well,
or upsettedness.
it's like Goggins' 40% rule.
Yeah.
Going back to, we were talking about when I first started running and I ran that first 4 miles in cross country, I was like, there's no way I can do this. There's no way I can do this. I'm going to fucking die. This is the worst I've ever felt in my life. I never pushed myself like that.
Right.
And then I got done. And I was like, all right,
I did this.
I was totally wrong about myself. What else am I wrong about? Like
Right.
How far off am I?
Exactly.
Yeah, how much farther can I go?
And then the torch was lit. And
Dude,
then
and it becomes a game almost to where or at least I'm starting to get that back now, but back when I was like 25, I was big into that. Like I would just wake up on a Tuesday and be like, I'm going to go for a run and not set a distance and just like get up, headphones in, and set my biometrics and go. And then I just didn't know where I was going. That turn looks good. And then 14 miles, like, I bet I could do another 3, you know? So I take a sub street or an extra turn, or I love that shit where you're just like, how wrong about yourself are you?
Yeah.
Seriously.
So-
And I think a lot of people have no idea how wildly off they are from what their body is capable of doing. You know what I mean?
If you can just embrace the amount of suck.
Yeah, dude.
Because everything else feels so much better when you're done doing the sucky thing. And if you have issues with depression, anxiety, a lot of times the suck that comes into your life doesn't feel like it's in your control.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of controlling the suck. At least like, hey, I'm in charge of this suck. I'm going to make it hurt worse than all of that.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be better when I stop.
Yeah,
Right.
dude. I'm gonna take 3 dicks at once, but I'm controlling it, dude.
In
So-
the same hole.
So,
Goddamn Houdini it,
your
dude.
your band's changed name over the years.
Yeah.
And
Front
it's now-
door, the front porch festival, right?
right. That's what I was getting to. So the band now is called A Brand New Month, right?
Happy New Month.
A Happy New Month.
But I
Happy
like
New
that. A
Month.
brand new month. That makes me happy. I'm going to bring that up. to those guys.
I'm gonna pitch this.
But so like, are you guys releasing albums, or are you just performing?
So we have 2 albums under the previous name. Right now, we
Dad Megan.
Def Megan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The previous name.
Previous, yeah. The
Pre-
old
pre.
school name. They're I know one of them's still on iTunes for sure. So we do have original music. Love recording stuff. We're recording another album right now. It's going slowly because we just kind of.
That's the way to do
And-
it.
You do Logic, right?
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
yeah, yeah.
I've got Logic too, so I'll record my bass line and then send it, and then we'll mix something and then send it back. And
Yeah,
send
yeah,
it, send it.
100%, 100%.
Yeah, so that's how we're doing
But the
it.
next thing you guys having coming up is the Front Porch Festival.
That's correct.
which is amazing
September
for
3rd.
all the people in Evansville.
September
September
3rd.
3rd.
I think we play from 5 to 9, 5 to 8, 5 to 9. I know it starts at 5.
And essentially for the people not in Evansville, because we have downloads in every continent, the Front Door or the Front Porch Festival is where the city just has bands on it, basically every front porch downtown.
Yeah, it's like every second or third house, and it's pretty cool to walk through. There's not just bands. There's some musicians. There's some artists. There's poets.
They do like vendors too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got vendors out there.
Had some solid food trucks last year.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So 8 days before the 9/11 anniversary, guys, get on down to downtown Evansville and check out that Front Porch Fest. Go see my guy here, A New Month, right? Happy New Month.
Happy New Month.
There we go.
I got Dad Megan. I got
It was a lot.
Def Megan.
It was a lot.
It's a lot of names all at once. So a Happy New Month, which I really do like that name. A Happy New Month. I like the meaning behind it. How you guys played a show every first of the month. It's neat.
So, Samuel,
Yeah.
Samuel.
has there ever been a moment on this journey of endurance sports, life, whatever, where you just thought about throwing in the towel saying, man, fuck this, I'm done running. Fuck this, I'm done hunting. Fuck this, I'm done. You know what I mean? Like, and you don't necessarily have to go into depth on the story, but you're more than welcome to. And then, like, what pulled you through that moment?
No, that's cool. So the one glaring thing that I can think of, it's why I have this tattoo.
I
on the
saw
inner
that
arm
on one of your Facebook pictures.
Is that German?
You were racing.
here. Yeah, that's right.
And you were
that was at the Ultra.
Yeah, you were holding.
So was that?
Yeah, you were holding your arm up,
Yeah.
showing off your tattoo. So
Yeah.
please elaborate. Sorry.
No,
not to
it's
cut you off.
it's Gaelic Irish, and essentially it
And your camera's actually right there. If you want to show it, there you go.
it translates to "I will endure,"
Okay.
Okay.
but kind of like a double meaning of like I'll suffer. So I've got a weird heart condition that we only found out about like right before I went to USI. I had a weird
Yeah.
spell and I ended up in the hospital. I've got a problem with one of my valves, and then I have an aneurysm because of that. So there was a lot of things that should have like clued me in that I never knew about it.
You were
And-
like working through it or working past these.
I didn't realize that. I always called it lava chest for me because if
Yeah.
I got going over a certain heart rate or whatever, you just, oh yeah, you guys feel like you have an actual fire behind your sternum, right? Like that's totally normal.
That's
Everybody's
normal, right?
Everybody's like, no. I was like, yeah, it's like a 8 out of 10 pain, but you can deal with it. Like it's just like extremely hot, and they're like, the fuck is wrong with you,
Dude, I think you have cancer.
right?
What the fuck?
And then
I'm fine.
I know I would be training like a bat out of hell, and I would just not improve at the same rate as people that were doing the same stuff as me. And I was like, man, I guess it's just bad genes.
You're losing efficiency, obviously. You have a fucking aneurysm.
That's it. Yeah,
That's all it was. I was just
that's what it was. Yeah, no. So I had in 2010, I had a infection in like it was bronchitis, and it moved around and in my lungs, and it finally settled in around my heart. And I got pericarditis, so it swelled up.
Fluid in
my
the
heart
lung,
didn't.
or fluid in the heart.
Yeah, and I had a
Pericardium.
horrible time with that. So when I was in there getting treated for that, they're like, "Hey, we got you under control, but you've got
It's
all
not
these heart
surgical,
problems."
is
And
it?
that had to
They
change
had-
your training program?
Yeah, some. It's not surgical right now.
No, I mean
will-
removing the water out of your pericardium.
No.
that
They were
wasn't-
able to take care of that without
Not
having
surgically?
to puncture it or anything.
Okay,
so that
dope.
would sucked.
That's sick.
Yeah, so that was nice. I'll have to have open heart eventually
later
when
down the road.
symptoms get worse and worse. and they only get worse. They don't get better.
What pushed you through that? What kept you going? Because I mean, that can be depressive. You're an endurance athlete basically, and they're like, you got something wrong with your heart.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so quit doing what you're doing.
Right. So I can't say that. Like when I found out, I had to stop pole vaulting.
Okay.
Like actually like doing it.
And you love that.
Oh God, it's the best thing in the world. It's literally the best thing in the world. I would give 25 years off the end of my life to get another season of pole vault in. Not really, because I have kids now.
Right.
At the time, I would have. Love it. It's the best thing. But when I found out, like, I could still do endurance stuff, I was just so stoked and elated about that.
That you could do something, yeah.
Exactly. And that's, I don't know, that's an interesting thing now. So I've had 3 surgeries on this left knee.
Don't get too into detail. I don't want to lose Thomas. We're nearing the end.
That's all pole vault. That's my jump leg. I'd
Okay.
trash that thing.
I'm
Pole
just
vault
saying,
and wrestling.
don't give too many details because he'll drop
yeah,
out
yeah,
on
yeah.
us. Blood and guts over here. He's
No blood, I promise.
Yeah.
he'll
No
just
way.
go to sleep.
We got those surgeries, broke a bunch of ribs, shattered that foot. I've had problems with nerves in my hips and all kinds of stuff. So, and that was all pretty much from pole vault, but lots of different things that you just kind of like, I don't know. It made sense for this tattoo. It was like, hey, you know what? Bring it on. I'm gonna get through it. I've got through that shit. I've got through everything. And I always like to think that I have an adversarial relationship with whoever is upstairs.
Right.
I do not
That
like.
dude's got it out for you.
I don't like to think he's on my side at all.
He's pushing you to be the best you that you can be.
I think that like I feel like sometimes he's just up there and he's like
Scheming.
Yeah, he's just like, this son of a bitch, I'm gonna get him today. What am I
Scheming.
gonna do? But I always like
Broken
to think,
pinky toe. God damn.
got him right on the edge of that coffee table every time. No, I like to think that I take on all of this so that somebody somewhere isn't taking it on. So that if that adversarial person in the sky is focused on me and bringing hell down on me, I can take it.
Oh, for
and I'm
sure.
going to deal with it. And because their attention is on
That's
me,
an intriguing.
somebody else is getting a break.
No
who
one
deserves
ever,
it.
No one's ever had anything that
That's awesome.
unique. That's a good way to look at it. Like you and God just duking it out.
That's
going
kind of
fisticuffs.
yeah. I know that's probably not the nicest, most wonderful thing
No,
for
man, but
our beautiful Catholic society around here.
Yeah, dude,
but-
we got a lot of Christians that listen to the show, so let's just blur most of that last part. I'm just joking. There are a lot of Catholics around here, though. I mean, I don't know, man. So I just want to say I appreciate your time, dude.
No, totally fine.
We like to give you the last couple minutes, Mr. Samuel, to just kind of tell us who's helping you propel forward, who's keeping this shit show on the tracks, on the rails, and who's pushing you forward, who's keeping you going. Shout outs, your social medias, whatever. The whole thing's you.
Yeah, so my 2 little girls. I've got 2 beautiful little girls, Avery and Eliza, and a wonderful wife, Chelsea. So that's I do everything that I do because one day I want my girls to be like, my dad ran 100 miles. Are you kidding me? If he can do that, I can do this. Or I want them to know that they can do anything. Yeah, but follow me. Instagram's probably the only thing I really do like publicly all that much. And
Pretty
I'm
active.
Samuel the Runner.
Samuel the
Or
Runner.
no. It's Samuel Goes Running. I'm sorry. I even got that
Samuel
wrong.
Goes Running.
Yeah, I'm not super crazy.
And
on
then
that.
where can people find your band?
So my
Happy
band,
New Month.
Happy New Month.
Month.
Yeah, it's still the old name on Facebook.
Okay.
So you can actually find
Dad
that-
Megan or Deaf Megan?
You can find the album under the name Deaf Megan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you said I get a couple minutes.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
this is
All
all you.
you.
All right.
No stress.
This is the best advice that I can give anybody because, like I said, I work in medically supervised weight loss. So we get people in there all the time that routinely lose hundreds of pounds and change their entire life. They get motivated and they absolutely kick it. But the most helpful thing that I've had with those people and just people in general is if you want to change your life, if you want to make a positive change or be a better runner or do this or do that, you have to realize who your negotiator is. And I always say this, it's almost like a devil that sits on your shoulder.
Oh yeah.
Set your alarm for 4 a.m. tomorrow and you'll meet him. Because when that alarm goes off at 4 a.m., that negotiator is going to sound like the friendliest voice in the world. And it's going to be like, this is silly. Why are you running? It's raining.
snooze.
It's raining outside. It is. You had a hard day. The kids were crazy. there was this shit going on and that shit going on. Just
dude.
you don't have to do
Your
this.
dog's got cancer.
Exactly.
It's like, dude,
you
just stay in
you
bed.
can make it up. You deserve this rest. The minute that you can first off identify that, and second off, if you can view that person as not your friend, and you know that they're not your friend, you can change your life.
As Rogan says, your inner bitch.
Is that what it is? Yeah, that's right. Inner bitch.
Inner bitch.
Yeah,
That's a good call.
if you can see it and recognize it and know that, like, yeah, it feels good right now, but what are you trying to do with your life? You only get one of them, and you're only here for a little bit.
Right.
So that person is holding you back, that little asshole on your shoulder.
Yeah, dude, you only get to go around the sun so many fucking times. Dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not a lot of times, just so we're clear, guys.
I know.
So enjoy it. Count them.
Goes quick.
It does, dude.
Just like this episode, it went very fast.
Jesus, it's been almost 2 hours, and I feel like I've only sat and talked for like 5 minutes. It's not long enough. You get me started on some physiology shit. Dude, I went to school exercise science. I can sit here and talk all day.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I'll tell you what, Samuel. Does that bother you when I say Samuel? You don't care. Good. I don't want to annoy you because it's like Samuel. It sounds like a musical.
Samuel.
Dude, Samuel. I don't know. It sounds like Italian and Spanish at the same time. I just want to let you know that I thoroughly enjoy talking to you. You like music. I like music. You like physiology. I like physiology.
You like dumb people. I'm dumb.
Thomas didn't really contribute anything to the conversation.
Aww.
So, no, I just like to give him a hard time. No, just thank you so much for your time. Dude.
No, thanks.
Hour and
having me.
a half. We got to set up. We got to tear down. It's like 2 hours out of your day that you could have been doing anything else. So just thanks for coming in and telling everybody your story.
It was an honor.
Yeah, seriously. It was an honor and a pleasure. So, no, seriously, I thoroughly enjoyed it. So I aspire to be an athlete like yourself. So thank you very much. This has been another thrilling episode of the Days Grimm. Right?
Yeah.
My name is Brian Michael Day.
My name is Thomas Grimm. Thanks again, Sam.
Samuel.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers, guys. That was good.